Yo, what those up? Welcome back to Reviews with Jake, where I just got done watching Becky. Becky's the story about a dysfunctional family visited by a group of escaped convicts who are searching the house for something. While they are more than willing to spill some blood in order to find it, the daughter Becky is more than willing to spill it right back. Hopefully this hat doesn't tarnish my credibility. Who cares? Look, I bought the thing how many years ago, Lord knows why, and it just sits in my closet in a shoebox, so whenever it has the opportunity to see the light of day, hell yeah. But as random as this hat is, it is nothing on the King of Queens playing a Nazi. Like, what the hell, man? I can feel the ears flapping around. I mean, I guess Patrick Stewart played one in Green Room, so it's not completely out of left field. And realistically, I don't think he'd be offended if he heard me saying that. No one wants to hear, yeah, I could totally see you being a skinhead, except for probably a skinhead. That being said, this alone made me curious for this movie. Add in some gruesome violence and you got yourself a bloody little cherry on top. That gave you more of a visual than I thought it would. We will start the pros right there. The acting in this movie was decent enough, particularly from Kevin Smith and Lulu Wilson. Kevin Smith actually did the damn thing. I mean, he didn't get a ton of time in order to really chew up scenery or anything with it, but I thought the little bit that he did have to really soak in the role, he did so. I mean, I gotta say, he stepped outside of his box and excelled. As far as Lulu Wilson goes, I've only ever seen her play in different horror projects from Mike Flanagan, but I'd say she pulled off this pissed off girl pretty well, and she was ready to bring the heat for whatever Kevin Smith and his posse were bringing. I only really bring up Mike Flanagan by name to draw another parallel, the editing. Particularly in the first portion of this movie, there's a sequence in which you have two different scenes being sewn together seamlessly with completely different characters and locations. It reminded me of Mike Flanagan and some of his work that he does in sewing different time frames together, like in Oculus and Hill House. The rest of the movie's editing was fine, but this particular sequence, I loved it. However, this sequence does not work without excellent direction and camera work, which this movie had plenty of. There were a lot of great visual storytelling elements, like subtle little touches that just made me go, I see what you did there. Nice. I said that out loud in my living room in front of my dogs. This movie also had a decent handle of its gore and makeup. I mean, this is a pretty freaking bloody film, and I did enjoy that aspect. It's a decent little 90-minute bloodfest package. However, this movie was not perfect by any definition. For starters, its plot was largely driven by convenience. In other words, this movie very frequently had me going, oh yeah, of course that happens, or that's mighty convenient, things of that nature. And an incredibly unlikely chain of events need to happen in order to get the movie that we got for both the protagonist and the antagonist. It could be a character who happens to have a very irrational fear that is easily exploited in this scenario, or just characters that kind of change their persona and attributes from scene to scene in order to fit the plot at that given moment. This movie is just littered with these things, and I can't really dive into any because it's spoiler territory, but in this movie, everything that happens just feels like a movie. It just feels manufactured and scripted. This movie also lacks any real emotional pull, despite it desperately trying to create one. There's a subplot in this film that is established very early on that they really try and milk it, to try and get something out of these characters, just milk it for all that it is. But ultimately, at the end of the movie, I felt like it kind of just felt like filler, like they needed some extra padding in order to fill kind of that standard 90-minute runtime. Because by the end of it, I just didn't really feel anything toward that particular scenario. It all just kind of felt like fluff, like we didn't need all that in order to appreciate all the blood and the violence. Like that's all we're there to see anyway, at least I was. Anyone? No? Just me? Okay, I guess I'm the sick puppy here. Good to know. All in all, this is a decent, bloody, quick little time. I mean, it tries to be a little bit more than that, ultimately falls short, but there's still some merit here. I'm going to give Becky a C+. But that's just me. What do you guys think? Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. And make sure you subscribe to this channel, stay up to date on new reviews coming real soon. Stay safe and thanks for checking in.